Hey everyone, I wanted to make a quick video. I want to thank you guys as always is taking your time out to view my videos. Thank you for all the support. The people that have unboxed me, asking me where my videos have been. You know, I talked to a gentleman last night that was saying the same thing, like, where you been, why you stopped making the videos. So it really encouraged me to get back on the trail. I had to go out of town to handle some business. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I want to also send my support out to the protesters that was in Chicago. It was a beautiful thing to see the people come out, especially with the injustice of the young man that was murdered and, the suppression of tapes and evidence for the public to see. And it was just a travesty injustice that the gentleman was able, or the cop was able to, receive pay for that long and not even receive any charges. I just want all my people to be aware, just to always watch the media, especially mainstream media. Keep an open mind when you're watching that stuff, because even with protesters, don't think it's above the CIA, above certain police bureaus to put people in plain clothes as protesters to cause disarrest and to make and demonize people. I have a lot of black people that All Lives Matter movement that amazes me, because when Dr. Martin Luther King died, he died as a villain. He was one of the most hated men in America. So every time there is a movement, you're never going to see a positive thing when it comes from the propaganda standpoint, because this media is infiltrated with other elements that people are not aware of, and that, people that control this, that makes it's profitable for them to keep disarrest and to demonize certain people. So you have to be aware of that. Even Chicago history of how they killed, the police killed Fred Hampton, 21-year-old man, implementing food programs and breakfast programs for elementary children, part of the Black Panther movement. Stop and put it in truce with gang violence. Wasn't doing anything. The FBI, CIA did not like the breakfast programs. They called that the most dangerous part of the Black Panther movement, and they infiltrated it with CIA operatives. The police had an operative go in, drug him, and everybody was in there with him. They knew that they would be in that apartment after a speech that he had an operative that had infiltrated, cooked them something to eat, drugged them, raided the place, knew they were all knocked out, and put a bullet in the back of that young man's head, assassinated him. So even when we talk about Marcus Garvey, had his first, black-owned cruise line, just the boats. They came in and they sabotaged the boats, causing problems to make it go bankrupt. And he employed over thousands of African Americans there in Harlem, and set them up basically for fraud to deport them. And then took everything that he owned, was setting up black-owned businesses, trying to get black people independent. So you have to watch out for this propaganda and what's being said about people, especially African Americans. It amazes me that we're still in that state and don't understand, after the Tuskegee experiments, what they did down in Panama. The American government paid $4 million to do vaccinations to the Panamanian government for years to give women and children syphilis, to see the the cause and effects of them growing up and living with syphilis. What can happen? They did that in the Tuskegee experiments, and people still go out and get flu shots. It amazes me. All my people that's putting up the flags for Paris, they use this stuff as social experiments to see how well you take this stuff. Look up the Northwoods report. What got Kennedy killed? The CIA, they wanted the American approval to go and invade Cuba, gave Kennedy a report of ideas of where they wanted to cause homegrown terrorist attacks. Homegrown terrorists, that they were going to do terrorist attacks and blame it on Cuba, so the American people can support them for invading. They were going to take a plane, just a plane that left Miami, and blow it up with a drone over or near Cuba. They were going to, parades and everything else, cause terrorist attacks. So the American people would agree with them invading Cuba. So you got to pay attention to what you're doing. Understand why. And I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying you do have to understand that mainstream media is full of propaganda. Just like with Saddam Hussein, they put him in office. Manuel Noriega, Reagan was working with him and Oliver North. Reagan, the so-called war on drugs, and he was the drug dealer. These people cause problems to so-called cure them because they make money off of it. This is why now they want to legalize marijuana, because they want to get that legal money off of it, tax money, get money. So just pay attention, you guys. The tip I want to give to you, especially when it comes down to the holiday shopping, holiday season, watch out for those merchandise cards. There's a lot of stores that offer you a discount, even if you apply and don't get it. You want to be very aware, because this can be positive for you and it can be a negative. The positive part, if you can get one of those cards, it will add a positive line of credit. A revolving open line of credit on your credit score. So you can see a boost of 50 points on your credit. But if you go and get those cards, being that there's such a small amount of $1,000, and you charge up in that store $600 or beyond that, it can tank your credit. It can bring your credit down, 50 points, and you don't know why, 60 points, and you don't know why. And it's because the credit to debt ratio on your credit score is down. And it makes up 30% of your credit score. So you got to be aware. If you want to make any moves like buying a house, buying a car after the first of the year, make sure you pay those down. Also with your personal credit cards, same thing. If you know you have bad credit, don't apply for those cards if you know you're not going to get it, because it will bring your credit score down, because you're putting hard inquiries on your credit report. So you can use these tools in a positive way, but it can be very negative. So be aware. A lot of stores that say, even if you don't get it, you can apply for it. You got to know where your credit is. And if you get the card, make sure you maintain at least 20% on your card if you're looking to go out and make big purchases later on. So God bless.